Morning, good afternoon, good evening to you, depending on where you are joining us from. My name is Eddie and Dunobong, and this is Society Watch on EIN TV. In Nigeria, the world over knows that currently in Nigeria we are in a very serious moment, and we are, I think, about 6 or 5 days from today. We'll be going to the poll to vote for who wants to be our next president, and there is something burning. The different political parties have made choices of who their choice candidate would be, or are already, and then some have taken it to the extreme, and then some are trying to be a bit ethnocentric, and some people who have been ignored over the years are trying to come out to tell their people that, hey, come on, we are still part of this nation and we want it to be done the right way, and we should be given a chance to give the people what we have in the area of leadership. And there's a particular set of people again which warranted this conversation today. We have the church. Nigeria, apart from being a multi ethnic system kind of state, we also have multi-religious system. We have the Christian, the Muslim. There's some other guys that are worshiping some stuff. We have the traditional worshippers and stuff. But the two main religion happens to be Christianity and the Islam. And so that prompted this. And then over the years, there's been some what I would tag voter apathy, where some people, out of maybe religious belief, if I dare say so, would say, "Oh, come on, I'm a Christian. I'm a born again Christian, not just a Christian. Because you can be a Christian, you're not born again. I'm a born again Christian. I can't get politics is dirty, so I can't possibly get my hand, my leg soil or whatever." But then, so they stay away, and then the people, the bad people they do not want to associate with, get to elect leaders for them. And in the end, you see that they that were so holy and do not want to take part in politics or even in the election process get to complain that their leader, they have a bad leader and all of those. So to disabuse the mind of the people, and of course to bring us to proper understanding of our civic responsibility, we'll be discussing on the topic today on the Society Watch. The topic is good governance and the civic responsibility of the church. And if you're joining us from anywhere, you can go on our Facebook at EIN TV, and then you can also watch on YouTube live at EIN TV. And you can even go on my personal page and see how you could also leverage on having this comment. So joining me today is an evangelist, and then he has also been in the civic space over the years. So he's well experienced in church engagement and also in civic responsibilities. And of course, he's one of the leaders of the leading civil society organization in Nigeria, an organization that has covered for more than about 1,000 other civil society organization. And of course, he's a project lead for that organization. Ladies and gentlemen, our guest for today, and of course, this is the first time we are hosting someone this year on this platform. His name is Pastor Steve Abu. Mr. Steve Abu, if you can hear me, can you just let me understand and let the people know that you are here?
Yeah, I can hear you very well. Thank you so much, Mr. Adiong Nobong and the entire team of ANI TV. Thank you so much for having me on your program today. I'm so
Thank
delighted to
you.
be here.
Thanks for sparing your time to be here with us. This is EIN TV, and of course, Mr. Bo works with Climate and Sustainable Development Network, and of course, they're doing a great job. And like I said, he will tell you that he's a rural evangelist. He works in the rural communities and he talks to the locals a lot and he deals with them a lot. So even if you get to see his pictures where he's dealing with people that looks, a bit touch, but then he has his roots with the people. So Abu, let me get to you, and so we can have this conversation because we have about 20 something minutes to wrap up this conversation. It's going to be brief but very succinct and quite interesting and engaging too. Sir, is it proper for a born again Christian? I have to lay emphasis on that. Is it proper for a born again Christian, to get involved in politics? After this, we'll be talking about what the civic responsibility will be like. But is it proper? Because we're in elections in Nigeria, we just have to keep it blunt. Is it proper, sir?
Yeah, thank you so much. This question is actually not out of place. I strongly believe they are coming from researches over the years. We actually have some set of Christians in Nigeria, though they are being born again, is not questionable, but somehow they believe politics is a dirty game and should be left to the dirty. So
Mm,
it has actually been a very wrong notion in the society. No, there is never a time that we were asked in the scripture to stay away from leadership. We were never asked to stay away from a thing because people who involved in it play it in a dirty way. That is one thing we must correct at this very beginning of this program. We have heard
mm,
so many people say, both Christian and non-Christian, that are actually upright people. Because of the way politics is being handled in this part of our country, because of the kind of miscreants that are involved in our electioneering. So some set of persons that are upright felt, because of the dirty way these people are playing it, I cannot soil my hands with it. No, truly,
mm,
politics is not a dirty game. However, we have people who play dirty politics.
of
So, and
course.
if you leave the dirty politics because some set of persons are playing it in a dirty way, it's like saying you are being served a food in a tray with a group of persons, and you say some persons are using dirty spoon. So therefore, you are not going to partake in that meal. You will go
Mm.
hungry. So it is absolutely correct for a born again child of God to be involved in election. Being involved in a sense that you can be elected and you should stand a chance to elect someone also. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That analogy you gave, reminds me of what has happened the past 8 years in Nigeria. You that if you stay off the dish because the other people are using dirty spoon, that you will go hungry. And of course, Nigerians will agree with me that we've been hungry for the past 8 years. So thank you for that very sincere thought of yours. Okay, so Mr. Steve, let's get to understand exactly what civic responsibilities are. Because if we do not draw this line clear, some people may think that getting involved in this thing, they don't really know their electoral rights. So how do we state to the people what their civic responsibilities are, particularly in the Christian light?
All right, thank you so much. It is important to know that the word civic is actually drawn from the word citizen.
Mm,
Now, when we are talking about civic responsibility of a person or group of persons, we are talking about those responsibility that people share as members or as citizens of
mm,
the same community. Now, you are not a citizen of a place. For example, Nigeria, you are not a citizen of Nigeria because you are a Christian or because you are a Muslim. No, you are first a citizen of Nigeria either by birth or by any other privilege. Now, by the virtue of being a citizen, it means even if it's some of these community services that are being rendered, like washing of the gutter, keeping the environment clean, it doesn't matter if you're a Christian, Muslim, pagan, you are mandated, or it is an obligation as a citizen to partake in that particular responsibility. Now, when we talk about civic responsibility of the church, I want you to know that first, the church is a part of the society. And so, if
mm.
it is required of the society to carry out an election, so it becomes your civic responsibility to partake in the election. So it is important for us to know that as a citizen of any country, you owe the community responsibility to partake in any social responsibility in the
Of course.
community. Thank you.
Um, Thank you so very much, Mr. Steve. You just made it clear that the church, that you were first a citizen before you became a Christian or a Muslim or whatever it is you're worshiping, or and then you first a citizen before you even become a member of a church. Talk more of being saved to become a born again Christian. So we must, as a people, take this responsibility of knowing the fact that we are first citizens. So thank you so very much, Mr. Steve. So this is Society Watch on Air TV. My name is Young Singing and Dunova. We've been having a quite expository kind of engagement here with Mr. Steve Abu. Mr. Steve Abu is a pastor, an evangelist, and then of course has been in the civil society space over time. He works with Climate and Sustainable Development Network of Nigeria. Mr. Steve, back to you. In 6 days' time, if I'm correct with the numbers, Nigeria will be heading to the poll, and the choice, we have about 3 popular candidates, and some people are bent on a particular candidate, and some are, we have choices. And at this point, what do you think should be the position of the church, having in mind that there has been some sort of undermining in some quarters of Christians? I'm not trying to stoke anything, but just want to be clear on this. There's been some undermining in some quarters, and there have been some, ethnocentric kind of engagement. Whereas we're in a secular, Nigeria is a secular society, it's a secular state, and going by ethnicity, we have people from regions that they tend not to be carried along in anything. So by Saturday, that's about 5 or 6 days from now, Nigeria will be heading to the poll. What do you think? What do you think, and how do you think Nigerians, particularly Christian Nigeria, should act with regards to heading to that poll on Saturday?
Yeah, you are very correct about the timing for the election. Is actually not on the 25th of January that is passed, neither 25th of January of 2024.
I didn't have
Yeah,
to go there.
yeah, it's actually in 6 days' time. And there is an ideology of the Christian faith that simplifies exactly what we want to see in Nigeria election. Now, as a Christian, you don't necessarily have to come from the same ethnic group before you qualify to become a child of God or to belong to the Christian faith. You can see that dynamics, that you are from another country, you are from from an ethnic group that I do not even understand your language, I do not even understand what you speak, but we have the same identity in Christ Jesus as a born again child of God. And so the Bible clearly say there shall be neither Jew nor Greek, that we will become all one by one thing binding us together, which is Christ. Now, if we copy this into the Nigerian society, now most of us will be far away from being ethnocentric. We will be far away from being bigots, because you don't need to come from my ethnic group for me to vote for you. I don't vote someone like P2B because I am an Igbo. You don't vote Atiku because it's an Hausa man. No. You see, when we come together as Christian, it doesn't matter the region where you are coming from, as long as you are binded by the Bible, which is our manual. We speak the same language from the Bible. We communicate, we shout hallelujah together, because we share common value. Now, as citizens, the common value that should bind us together, not just like binding us together, like it should also be something that we should all benefit from is actually the B part of the topic of our discussion today, which is good governance. You know, good governance is what should benefit both Christian, Muslim, pagan, and whatsoever, even free thinkers. So long you are a citizen in a particular country, you should enjoy good governance. And if good governance is what we look forward to achieving in Nigeria, then we must all work for it, irrespective of region, ethnics, and religious divide. So now, if we are going to be binded or going to have this common goal or focus of having good governance, it means we must come together to speak on same front in terms of casting our vote for credible candidates, not because of their religious affiliation, not because of their region, not because of their, ethnic group, but that this person has a proven record of being
Hmm.
able to deliver good governance. Thank you.
I think that's exactly how to end this particular answering this particular question. Because some people feel it's their turn, some people feel they are the owners of a particular nation, and then some people feel these other ones shouldn't even go anywhere close to power. And but the main issue has been left behind the scene. That the issue of credibility, the issue of capacity, and all of those things. And this is a country of over, I think, about 2 billion people, and you are saying it's your turn, and you're saying no, it should be here, power should remain here, and we have other people. So I think that's basically how to end that particular answer. Thank you so very much, Mr. Steve. This is
Thank you.
Society Watch on EIN TV. You may want to drop your thought. I will see if I have the time to you, or you have questions for Mr. Steve. I would like to see. I will see if I can have the time for him to entertain some or attend some questions. So you may want to drop your thoughts, your questions, and I will see how to read it out and see how my guest today can, get to share his thought. Thank you, Many Anderson, for joining the conversation. And then, Mr. Steve, back to you. Uh, we've talked about something about the religion, ethnicity, and stuff, and we've talked about competence. What are those characters? What are those attributes that Nigerians should? I know the time is politics. They say can be decided at whatever time, so it's never too late for us to reassess the quality of the candidate we've got so far. What are those attributes that Nigerians should look out for in each of those aspirants, particularly the most popular ones that we know are likely to clinch the day come the 25th of this month? So, what are those attributes, the characters,
All
whatever it is undertone that Nigerians should look out for?
all right. Thank you so much, Mr. Adiong. Even friendship, at interpersonal relationship, you will discover that one thing that makes friendship stronger is when you have a friend that are consistent with their words. People who a friend you can bank on their promises, friends that have proven records. Now, like I said earlier, if good governance is what we have as a common value, both as a Christian, Muslim, or a pagan, if good governance is what we have as common value. Now, these are the following things that we must use as basis for this evaluation. Now, we have candidates. It is obvious that from the play of things that we have, the first three major candidates are from the APC, PDP, and Labour Party. Now we have listened to these people speak on different occasions. We have some of us are of age and have experienced government under these same people at different location at different time. Now, you can sincerely, if truly you are not blinded by either what you stand to gain by any of these political aspirants, if you are not being blinded by religious affiliation, if you are not being blinded by ethnic bigotry, you should be able to tell for yourself that, look, when you put on the table on the issue of economy, we have listened to Atiku speak, we have listened to Tinubu speak, we have listened to Peter Obi speak. Now, who amongst these people have been able to touch on the reality? And you know, the good thing about this is that everything spoken about these people are on the records, are there. They are there for the sake of they are there. Now, you know, one of these three persons I mentioned actually challenged me some months ago, and that is the candidacy of Peter Obi. You know, this man said something. He said, if anybody, anywhere in Nigeria has a record of where he either bribed or used money or embezzled money, that the person should come out, expose it, and he said from that very moment he will step down from this race.
Wow.
That blew my mind. I as an individual have never heard any presidential aspirant say this in the future, in the past, not even now. He has his proven record, whereas we have seen in other quarters, there are stories of how bullion vans, there are stories, you know, there are so many other stories here and there, but this
I
man,
think that's where the issue of credibility comes to play.
do you understand? So he said he will make his point and say you should go and verify. Now we are not saying Peter Obi is the best. Get me right. I am not saying we must vote Peter Obi, we must vote Atiku, or we must vote Tinubu. No, I am saying from what they speak, from their past record, we can tell what we want. As a society, as a common man in Nigeria, how do you feel the impacts of good governance? These are the things that will lead you to making the right decision. For example, a good governance is not the kind of governance that will have your children out of school for months.
You know, recently ASU was about at home for about 8 months.
Yes, exactly. We experienced where, you know, ASU went on strike for over 6 months.
And no one protested.
A good governance is a place where people have freedom of speech, where people can talk freely, where people can protest when they are not comfortable without being killed or arrested. We have experienced this. We have seen, and we know how these stories are linked with some persons and some political parties. You know, by the way, before I finish this statement, it is important to know that there is an ideology in Nigeria now that people are getting, you know, more civilized in terms of politics in Nigeria. In my locality, I have seen people that are ready to vote up to 3-4 political parties. And this is based on the credibility of the persons vying for the office. So I have heard in different discussions, I'm going to vote presidency for Labour Party, for the House of Senate, I will vote this man that is in APC, for House of Rep, I'm going to vote this man that is PDP. You know, that gives me joy. I think we have come to that point in Nigeria that everybody, be wherever you are, from your religious and ethnic background, whatever. No, you can see, you know, the worst thing is that when you talk about bad governance, if it begins to take its toll, it doesn't affect just one ethnic group. It doesn't just affect one religious group. If you go to exchange your dollars, it's the same way they change for a Muslim that they change for a Christian. It's the same way they change for an Igbo man that they will change for an Hausa man. So these things affect us. Bad governance affect us all the same. So also good governance will be beneficial to all of us. Now you are looking for quality. I don't need to mention, we have them everywhere on the social media. We have them even on print media. The number of dilapidated hospitals, how people go to hospital and die because there's no bed space, how people go to hospital and there's no drugs. Yeah, I have taken a member of my family to the hospital this year, and we ordinary Panadol was not in the hospital. And of course, we have heard
Wow.
similar stories of a hospital
Mm.
even in Aso Rock. So that is not dividends of good governance. This is not correct. It is wrong. That is not an indicator for a good governance. A good governance should make food available, cheaper, protect food security. For everybody, we should be able to use this indication, education, food industrialization. I can tell you that if I ask you as a person to point out in your location, in your states, how many industries do you have functioning presently? On how many
Mr.
more? How
Mr.
many new ones do you have? You will discover we are far away from this reality. So these
Mr.
are
Steve,
things
Mr.
we
Steve,
use in
if I allow
measuring good
you,
governance.
yeah, I can see you. I would describe Mr. Steve as a passionate Nigerian. I wouldn't say Nigeria has happened to him, but I feel somehow Nigeria has happened to this man because from the way he's sounding, and then you almost hit me below the belt. You just mentioned my state and the number of industries that are functioning, and I would like to tell you, let's exchange the seats now. You're the one interviewing me now while I'm answering questions for you in my state. On the pages of newspaper and all of those, we've had about over 18 industries. But yet, the youth of Akwa Ibom State are roaming on the streets, and the highest paid job they can provide for them is it what's it called? Internet boys, or share widely. That's what they call. They create a WhatsApp group for them and give them either 5,000, I don't know how much, and they share including these fake industries. Once the writer will write, and the funny thing, the person that write this thing will not share, and maybe is the one getting the chunk of the spoil from the system. Them that are unemployed, hungry, will be the one to share and defend even this fake industry. So I don't know which way, but I want to believe that in the course of what is going to happen between now and March 11, that the whole lot will change in this country, and perhaps being that we are more enlightened now, that our perception will get to change and we'll get to act right as a people and see how to correct the anomaly in our society. Mr. Steve, I would like to thank you so very much for sparing your time to be here. But before you go, I would like to ask this question, and I want a frank answer from you. I understand that some time ago, even before we were born, that we had the likes of Martin Luther King, and then we have some other top religious person, particularly from the Christian folk. And then even in India, I think we have Gandhi, right? Was from
Gandima, yeah.
India and stuff.
Yeah.
And these people were religious people, but they led the reform in the leadership space, in the political space. Would you say in Nigeria that we've got this set of humans? And if we've got them, where are they? What are they doing to correct the anomaly in the society?
Yeah, thank you so much. Maybe I should start by answering, and then I give my other opinions. The truth of the matter is that we have such people in Nigeria, but they are
Mm,
part of this set of persons that, because of their fear of being contaminated or by going close to the way some persons play the dirty game, choose not to. I have met a number of good Nigerians, home and abroad, willing to offer their services, but they discover the system has made it so straight for them that if they must break into the system, they are asked to soil their hands. And so many times
mm,
they step aside. Now, listen to me. One of the risks to such people, I think this program also will be beneficial to them. It is a call. Please refuse to take the back bench. Refuse to hold back. If you have got this ability to help our nation, please arise. It is time to save Nigeria. Nigeria is in bad shape. Nigeria, Nigeria is sinking. Now, the Bible told us in the book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 28, it says, we are the light of the world. And you
mm,
cannot light a candle and go and hide it.
Mm.
More reason why Christians, born again Christians, should be involved in politics. In the book of Proverbs, we were also told, he said, when the righteous is in a position of authority, the people will rejoice. I am calling on all good Nigerians, home and abroad. As I speak to you, I have discussed with my family. I am traveling down to my village. That is where my polling unit is. I am going to cast my vote. I will stand. As a matter of fact, the last time I went to the village to vote, they brought violence and even shot a young man. And then my mom said I should stop coming home for election. I said, Mom, it's a my civic responsibility, and I cannot just stay back. I don't just want to watch things go bad, because now they say things don't go wrong because wrong people handle things. No, but things go wrong because good people fold their hands and watch. So we are
Mm.
not going to fold our hands and watch. We are going to be part of these change makers. It is enough. It is time for us to rise as Nigerians to introduce this needed change. I think Nigeria stand a great chance this time around to make things right. But if we all keep quiet, it is going to go wrong. It is time for us to vote. Now, we are tempted at some point, before now, people come online to say, please vote your conscience, vote wisely. But some of us are careful not to use those terms anymore. We are aware that some persons no longer have conscience. Some persons'
Mm.
conscience are being snared. Their conscience has been bought over with money. So you say some persons should vote wisely. Which wisdom are they using? People's whose wisdom is worth just 30,000, 5,000, 10,000, and then they forget about their wisdom. So we are not asking anybody to vote wisely. We are not asking you to vote your conscience, because some of you have no conscience. We are asking you
Mm.
to please look for this credible candidate and vote. One of the
Mm.
things that is discouraging some persons in some quarter is that this man is like this one, and the person I want to vote is not in the major party. Even if I vote for him, will he win? He may not win, but if you vote for that person, he may win. One, and
Mm.
if you vote for that person, even if he doesn't win, you must have satisfied your conscience and still know that you still have a human conscience. But for anybody that is seeing all the wickedness going on, and you see people capable of continuing or perpetuating same evil, and you are giving out your vote or refusing to vote against them, then you are the one giving this platform for the evil to continue. Thank you
Ah,
so much.
Mr. Steve, thank you so very much. I must say that with this message you're passing out, a lot will be happening in this country, and I want to believe that a lot of minds are changing already. And we're 3 minutes to wrapping up this engagement, and I would like to have your final thoughts, just in split seconds. What are your final thoughts, and what would you advise Nigerians as we head to the polls on Saturday?
Like I said, Nigerians, let's not hold back. Let's all go out and exercise this civic responsibility. And this is my prayer, that at the end of it all, Nigeria will win.
Amen.
Nigeria will overcome. This will also pass. Thank you.
And I say amen to that prayer. Thank you so very much, Mr. Steve Abu, for coming on the show today. Mr.
Thank you.
Steve joins us from Abuja, Nigeria, where he's based, and then he has promised or told us that he will be going back to the village where he will be exercising his civic responsibility come Saturday. Not just him and his household. Thank you so very much, Mr. Steve, for coming to share your thought on this show today. And I want to believe that with the people like you, and then with the influence you are pulling out there, and the things you're doing before in the scene and outside the scene, or behind the scene, however we want to put it, that Nigeria and Nigerians will win. Thank you for coming on the program. All right, so that's been Mr. Steve Abu. He joined us from Abuja, Nigeria, and it's been a super superlative engagement today with him. And I must say very big thank you to him. He's a very busy person, but he created time to be here with us today. I want to urge you, even if you are old, do it for the sake of your grandchildren And if you're not too old, do it for the sake of your children. If you are young, do it for yourself. Do it for the sake of your siblings, your cousins, your niece, your nephews, whatever. Just do it for the sake of the next generation. And then you as a believer, as a Christian, you would say you do not believe in worldly leadership. Where do you live? Wait first. If I want to put in Nigerian balance, wait first, make the heaven come, make you go there, go enjoy. But so long you did this war, take active part, get involved. And the Bible speaking says, should we continue in sin so that grace may abound? And if the Bible says, if the foundation be destroyed, what can the righteous man do? So we must do our best to correct the foundation. We must do our best to see that we get involved and we do not continue in the sin of electoral apathy. We do not encourage the wrong people to get into power. I read a story about a church in England, that the church is built by the seashore, and the time that the church sinking, someone dived into the hole and just with a lantern and was able to put up pebble by pebbles, stone by stone, until today the church stands. And just because of the act of one man who was able to sacrifice, we were able to, or they were able to, restore the structure of that church. And in Nigeria, I think we have one man. I'm not, but then we just have to see how we can support that person. I remember the story of Moses when the Israelites were fighting, and all they needed was for Moses to carry the staff. And at some point, Moses' hand was weak, and the Israelites were there to support his hand, and that was how they secured victory. So Nigerians, the choice is yours. We have the Moses out there, and I just want you to do the right thing. And that is my encouragement to you, and my advice, my opinion, that you should do the right thing. Thank you so very much for being a part of this program. This is Society to Watch on Air in TV. My name is Ediong, singing in Dunabong. So long.